Have you ever noticed how everything around you seems perfectly still, and yet nothing in the universe is truly at rest? The walls of your room hold steady, the air feels unmoving, but beneath that calm lies a constant ballet of motion. Every atom in your body trembles, every star sails through space, and the very fabric of reality itself expands outward. The illusion of stillness is comforting, but it hides the deepest truth of all, that motion is not chaos, but life itself. Tonight, as you lie in the quiet of your room, the earth beneath you spins eastward at 1,000 miles per hour. Outside your window, invisible currents of air slide through the night. The moon glides silently across the black sea of space. You don't feel any of it, and yet you are traveling through atmosphere, orbit, and galaxy without taking a single step. You're floating inside a cosmic river so smooth that it feels like peace. Understanding motion is more than understanding physics. It's understanding why everything exists at all. From the rotation of galaxies to the pulse in your wrist, movement defines the boundary between being and nothingness. Without motion, there would be no heat, no light, no heartbeat, no time. Everything that lives spins, from the smallest electron to the turning of entire worlds. The universe is not static. It's breathing slowly, endlessly, through every moment you experience. If this kind of calm curiosity helps you unwind, a gentle like or a quiet tap on subscribe helps others find their way here too. Each small gesture keeps this tiny corner of the cosmos glowing, reminding me that these soft stories of science still reach gentle minds like yours, drifting beneath the same sky. So tonight, we'll drift together through the invisible movement that shapes everything, from the atoms in your fingertips to the slow turning of galaxies. You'll see that motion isn't something outside of you. It's written into what you are. Take a slow breath, and let's begin our quiet journey into why everything in the universe is moving. The universe has never known silence. Every particle, planet, and pulse is moving, quietly, constantly, without pause. Yet here you are, surrounded by calm air, resting on a planet racing through space. This is the grand illusion of stillness, a masterpiece of balance. The calm you feel isn't the absence of motion, but its perfect disguise. Even when you sleep, the earth turns, the stars drift, and atoms hum beneath your skin, all moving in elegant cooperation. Physics tells us that true rest doesn't exist. Everything vibrates with some form of energy, thermal, gravitational, atomic. Your body is a constellation of molecules colliding millions of times each second. Each impact transfers energy, like a quiet applause happening beneath your awareness. This constant exchange is what keeps you warm, alive, and bound to the laws that govern the cosmos. Stillness, in truth, is a feeling, not a fact. Imagine a pond at dawn, its surface so smooth it mirrors the sky. You might think it's motionless, but beneath the reflection, countless invisible ripples drift and merge. That's what reality feels like, serenity shaped by motion. You, too, are that pond, peaceful above, alive with movement below. And perhaps that's why stillness feels sacred, because it's the closest thing we have to witnessing harmony in motion. The universe never stops, yet it never feels rushed. Every spin, every orbit, every pulse is part of an endless choreography that asks for no applause. The first person to prove the Earth was moving wasn't an astronaut, but a pendulum. In 1851, Leon Foucault suspended a heavy brass sphere in a Paris museum, letting it swing freely. As hours passed, the plane of its swing rotated, tracing invisible motion through time. People watched in silence, realizing that it wasn't the pendulum that turned. It was the earth beneath their feet. A slow revelation. The ground itself was dancing. The Foucault pendulum remains one of the most elegant experiments in history because it doesn't need equations. It lets you see motion made visible through patience. The longer you wait, the more obvious the Earth's rotation becomes. It's a scientific lullaby, proof that stillness is temporary, and waiting long enough reveals the truth that everything moves. Picture standing beneath one of these pendulums today. A quiet museum hall, marble floors, sunlight drifting through glass. The sphere swings gently, never tiring, slicing through air that hums with centuries of curiosity. Time bends around its rhythm, and for a moment, you feel both ancient and weightless. Maybe that's what all science really is. The art of noticing movement so subtle that it looks like peace. When you understand that stillness is motion slowed beyond perception, you stop fearing change. The world isn't static. It's simply balanced in perpetual transformation. The reason we don't feel the Earth's motion lies in a principle called inertia. It's the idea that an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an external force. Since we move with the Earth, air, oceans, mountains, and all, there's no difference to detect. Everything spins together seamlessly. The only time you feel motion is when something interrupts it. A sudden stop, a sharp turn, a break in equilibrium. This is why your coffee doesn't spill as the planet races through space. The mug, the liquid, and your hand share the same momentum. Everything glides in silent unison. It's not stillness, it's shared motion so perfect that no one can feel it. It's as if the universe designed inertia as a comfort, allowing us to live inside constant movement without chaos. Imagine being inside a plane flying through calm skies. You sip tea, read, rest your head against the window, and it feels like nothing is happening. Outside, however, you're hurtling through air at 900 kilometers per hour. That's what life on Earth is like. A quiet flight through the void, smooth enough to forget it's happening. And that forgetfulness is a gift. If we could feel every vibration, every gravitational tug, every molecular collision, consciousness would shatter beneath the noise. The universe hides its motion behind a curtain of calm, so we can think, love, dream, all while traveling thousands of miles every hour. Astronauts describe this paradox vividly. In orbit, they move at 17,500 miles per hour, circling Earth every 90 minutes. Yet inside the capsule, everything feels weightless and still. There's no wind, no shaking, only quiet drifting. Motion becomes peace. It's as if the laws of physics themselves understand the need for stillness inside the storm. That same law applies here on Earth. From your chair to the clouds above, everything shares velocity, a synchronized drift that defines your place in space. You're not separate from motion. You're embedded in it. To feel still is simply to move in perfect rhythm with your surroundings. Think of it like music. If every note aligned perfectly with every beat, you'd hear only harmony, not motion. The melody becomes one long, soothing sound. That's inertia. Cosmic music so balanced that your senses can't detect the tempo. The song of the universe plays on, and you're part of the orchestra. There's comfort in realizing that the Earth's speed is not chaos, but precision. Every rotation takes 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. A sidereal day, consistent for millennia. This rhythm sets the pulse for every sunrise, every heartbeat, every human story ever told. It's not randomness. It's memory, repeating perfectly in motion. NASA scientists have measured even the tiny variations in this rhythm. The planet slows by about 1.7 milliseconds per century, a result of the moon's tidal pull. It's as if the Earth is exhaling slowly across ages, losing momentum with grace, not exhaustion. Even slowing down is a kind of music. From that perspective, your own stillness becomes sacred. When you rest, you join that ancient rhythm. Your body rotates with mountains, oceans, and clouds, all turning silently toward tomorrow. Sleep isn't the absence of movement. It's participation in the universe's smoothest spin. This understanding changes how we see peace. True calm isn't about stopping motion, but aligning with it. You're not meant to escape the current. You're meant to float. The secret of serenity lies in cooperation, not control. Maybe that's why meditation feels cosmic. When you breathe deeply and slow your thoughts, you're not halting time. You're syncing your rhythm to Earth's rotation, to the ancient spin that has guided every sunrise since the beginning. Even at the atomic level, motion never ceases. Electrons whirl within their orbits, creating the illusion of solidity. The chair beneath you, the air around you, all of it is a storm of particles moving too fast and too small for your eyes. What you call solid is actually motion held together by harmony. So when you touch the table beside you, you're feeling the resistance of countless microscopic dances, atoms refusing to merge because their orbits hold them apart. Touch itself is the meeting of two invisible storms. Stillness, once again, proves to be movement misunderstood. The next time you stand outside at night, remember, you are spinning eastward toward dawn, orbiting a sun that circles a galaxy that drifts through expanding space. You are never still. You're surfing the infinite. And yet, it feels peaceful because motion, at its smoothest, feels like stillness. Perhaps the universe gave us this illusion as a kindness, a way to live inside endless movement without fear. Stillness is not a lie. It's the most beautiful disguise that motion ever wore. Now that we've unmasked it, let's drift deeper into the question that follows naturally. If everything moves, what started the motion in the first place? Long before galaxies unfurled their arms and stars began to shine, the universe itself was a trembling thought, a sea of potential energy waiting to move. Scientists call it the Big Bang, but that phrase hides the elegance of what really happened. There was no explosion, no sound. There was expansion, space itself stretching, like a breath that had been held for eternity and finally released. That first motion was not chaos. It was birth. Every movement that has ever happened since, from the swing of a pendulum to the orbit of planets, carries the echo of that initial expansion. The atoms in your fingertips are still coasting on momentum, gifted by the dawn of time. What we feel as motion is the afterglow of creation, an inheritance written into every grain of matter. The universe didn't just begin with motion. It is motion, frozen into different forms. In the earliest microseconds of existence, energy condensed into particles. Particles collided into atoms, and atoms joined into stars. Each stage of creation was driven by imbalance, a gentle imperfection that forced everything to move toward harmony. Motion exists because perfection does not. Without tiny asymmetries, there would be no direction, no time, no story to tell. The universe learned to dance because stillness was never stable. Imagine that moment as a vast ocean of light, rippling outward faster than any imagination can chase. There were no galaxies yet, no atoms, not even darkness as we know it. Just a bloom of pure energy cooling into the architecture of everything. If you close your eyes now, you might sense a faint resonance of it. The quiet hum of background radiation, the soft echo of the first heartbeat of the cosmos still whispering across eternity. From that original expansion came gravity, the invisible sculptor of all motion. Gravity does not push. It invites. It pulls everything toward everything else, turning chaos into orbit, drift into pattern. The planets move not because they want to escape, but because they are forever falling, forever missing the sun by a perfect distance. That delicate failure to collide is what keeps the solar system alive. Motion, at its core, is the art of not quite arriving. Our entire existence depends on this balance between falling and flying. Every step you take, every beat of your heart, every turn of the moon is a conversation between inertia and gravity. You are pulled downward by the Earth, yet the Earth itself is falling through the void around the sun, and the sun is falling through the galaxy. Nothing is anchored. Everything is graceful descent. If you've ever watched a feather drift in still air, you've seen gravity's gentleness. It doesn't demand, it persuades. The feather's fall is a story of compromise, air resistance, mass, and pull meeting in slow motion. On cosmic scales, planets do the same. They don't crash into each other because space is wide and time is patient. They fall forever, never touching, bound by invisible affection. At the smallest scales, motion arises for a different reason, the quantum restlessness that refuses to let anything sit still. Even at absolute zero, when all heat should vanish, particles still tremble with zero-point energy. It's as though the universe refuses boredom. Existence, by definition, must move. In that microscopic trembling lies the seed of every sunrise, every sound, every thought. Physicists sometimes describe the universe as a quantum foam, where particles appear and vanish like bubbles in boiling water. But this foam isn't chaos. It's potential. Every fluctuation, every spark of randomness adds texture to creation. If all energy were still, time itself would have no direction. We would live inside a frozen mirror of possibility, unchanging, unfeeling, unknown. Motion gives time its arrow and gives us the story we call life. So, what started motion? Perhaps nothing started it at all. Perhaps motion is the default state of being, like light from a flame. You can't remove it without extinguishing existence itself. Asking why things move might be like asking why sound vibrates or why waves ripple. The answer is the same, because that's what they are. And yet, even as science maps these truths, there's something quietly spiritual about it. To know that the same force pulling an apple from a tree also guides the moon around Earth connects us to an ancient lineage of discovery. Newton called it gravity. Einstein called it curvature of spacetime. But to the soul, it feels like belonging, the sense that everything is reaching for everything else. If gravity could speak, maybe it would whisper, "Come closer." It never shouts, never forces, only invites. And in that invitation, worlds are born, stars ignite, and we continue to spin. What began as expansion became attraction. What began as distance became dance. The universe balances its desire to grow with its instinct to embrace. Even now, galaxies are moving away from each other as space itself stretches, while stars within them swirl in tight orbits. Expansion and attraction, opposites in eternal harmony. That duality shapes everything. Matter and antimatter, day and night, silence and sound, you and the cosmos. Motion is the compromise between creation's two desires, to reach out and to hold on. When you sit quietly tonight, feeling the faint rhythm of your pulse, know that it began in that first trembling instant after time was born. The atoms in your heart have been moving for nearly 14 billion years, never stopping, only changing form. You are made of ancient energy that has traveled from the core of dying stars to this exact breath. And perhaps that's the true origin of motion, not the beginning of the universe, but the continuation of it through you. Every thought, every word, every heartbeat keeps the story unfolding. You are not observing the movement of the cosmos. You are part of it, a ripple still carrying the first spark forward. If you ever doubt your place in the vastness of space, remember this. Everything you are, everything you love, everything you touch is in motion, because motion never ended. It is still happening, quietly, beautifully, right now. The Big Bang was not a moment long ago. It's the reason you can breathe. So as you drift deeper into this night, picture the universe not as a machine, but as a river that began with one breath and never stopped flowing. You are floating in that current, older than time, younger than dawn, carried endlessly forward by the soft persistence of motion. And somewhere beyond the reach of sight, the galaxies continue their slow, swirling waltz. A reminder that creation never paused to look back. It only moves gracefully, eternally, toward whatever lies ahead. Motion is never self-sustaining. Every drift, every orbit, every ripple needs a reason, an unseen companion that keeps it alive. These companions are the fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear bonds. Together they shape the rhythm of the universe, ensuring that nothing ever truly stops. Even the silence between galaxies is alive with tension, each atom tugging gently at another across impossible distances. Gravity is the most familiar of these guardians. It feels soft, domestic, the weight that keeps your feet on the floor, yet it sculpts galaxies from chaos. It binds suns into spirals, moons into dance, oceans into tides. The apple that fell for Newton was merely obeying an invitation as old as time itself. Every fall is really a reunion, the earth and apple remembering they were never apart. Einstein later revealed that gravity isn't a pull at all, but a curvature. Space bends around mass, and mass follows that curve, like marbles rolling along a stretched sheet. The planets trace those invisible grooves endlessly, not because they're being forced, but because the path is the only one that exists. Motion becomes destiny, shaped not by hands, but by geometry. Picture a satellite circling Earth. It isn't hovering above US. It's falling forever. The ground curves away at the same rate it descends, creating an infinite near miss. That perfect miss is orbit, the art of falling without arriving. It's one of nature's most poetic solutions, perpetual motion sustained by continuous surrender. While gravity choreographs the grand scale, electromagnetism writes the music of light. It's the reason atoms bind, the reason you can see this world at all. Every color, every spark, every heartbeat's electrical pulse arises from that dance between charged particles. Without it, matter would crumble into silence. Magnetism is the handwriting of energy, invisible lines linking stars, compasses, and neurons in the same universal pattern. At the smallest scales, the strong nuclear force takes over. It holds protons and neutrons together within atomic hearts, defying the repulsion that should tear them apart. Its reach is short, its loyalty absolute. The weak nuclear force, quieter still, allows transformation, the slow decay that turns one element into another. Even disintegration is a kind of movement, the universe recycling itself particle by particle. Inertia joins these forces like a patient conductor. It is the tendency of motion to continue, of rest to resist change. Once something begins to move, it carries the memory of that beginning forever, unless another force intervenes. Every spin, from the turning of a wheel to the rotation of galaxies, is a conversation between energy and resistance, a balance that defines existence. Imagine pushing a small stone across ice. It slides easily, barely slowing. In deep space, where friction nearly vanishes, that stone would glide for eternity, its motion preserved like a secret. That's inertia at work, the universe's promise to remember every beginning. Nothing moves without leaving a trace, even when no one is watching. Time itself acts as a force, though not in the way we usually think. It stretches motion into sequence, giving direction to change. Without time, all motion would collapse into a single frame, frozen. It's time that lets a leaf fall, a planet turn, a life unfold. The flow you feel when watching clouds drift or shadows lengthen is time revealing movement, one heartbeat after another. There's also resistance, friction, drag, decay, the quiet opposition that gives motion meaning. Without resistance, there'd be no need for persistence. Every fall would last forever. Every sound would echo endlessly. Friction allows endings, and endings allow rhythm. When a comet's tail burns through atmosphere, it's the friction that makes it visible, a goodbye illuminated by fire. The cosmic forces don't compete, they collaborate. Gravity shapes the stage, electromagnetism paints the scenery, Nuclear forces build the actors, and time writes the script. Together they perform the same eternal play, energy becoming form, form becoming energy again. Every second of your life is a small act within that performance, powered by the same rules that spin the stars. Somewhere in that network of forces lies balance, the delicate middle ground where motion feels effortless. Birds find it on rising thermals. Planets find it in orbital harmony. Your body finds it when you breathe without thinking. Balance isn't stillness. It's synchronized motion. You exist within it constantly, a quiet participant in universal equilibrium. Physicists call these forces fundamental, but they are also intimate. A same magnetism that aligns a compass needle also stirs within your heartbeat. The same gravity that binds the moon's tides draws your body gently toward the earth each moment. Science names them as equations. Experience feels them as comfort, invisible hands keeping the world coherent. And perhaps that's why understanding the forces doesn't steal their mystery. Knowing how light bends doesn't make the sunset less sacred. Comprehending gravity doesn't erase the awe of seeing an apple fall. Science, at its most peaceful, replaces fear with wonder. It teaches that behind every movement is connection, not chaos. When you drop a pebble into water, ripples spread outward until they vanish from sight. But they never truly end. Energy simply disperses into smaller and smaller waves. On a cosmic scale, every event, every explosion, collision, heartbeat does the same. Nothing is lost. It only travels, transformed into subtler forms of motion. This continuity means that the movement that began before time began still flows through you. The electrical impulses in your nerves, the warmth of your breath, the gravity holding you close, all are extensions of that first vibration. You are not a bystander to these forces. You are their expression, their temporary shape, their fleeting thought. The next time you walk under the night sky, remember that gravity is carrying you in the same curve that carries the moon. Light from distant suns brushes your skin. Magnetism steadies your pulse, and time moves quietly forward, one second after another. The universe does not act upon you. It acts through you. In this way, motion becomes compassion, the cosmos refusing to let anything remain forgotten. Every spin, every pull, every flicker is an act of attention. The forces don't dominate. They accompany. Their constancy is their kindness, their patience infinite. And so we move, sustained by laws older than memory, guided by forces we can't see but always feel. You've never taken a single breath outside their embrace. Everything you've ever done, every place you've stood, every dream you've had, unfolded within their invisible care. When you close your eyes tonight, those same forces continue their work. Electrons orbit, planets glide, galaxies stretch. You can rest knowing that even in your stillness, the universe keeps moving for you. It doesn't need to be watched to stay alive. It simply is gentle, constant, eternal motion. The story of motion is not about power but trust, the assurance that what began billions of years ago will continue tomorrow, and the next day, and the next breath. That is the promise written into every law of nature. You don't have to hold the universe together. It's already holding you. And with that thought, we drift onward, from the forces that keep us moving to the mysterious substance they move through, the fabric of space itself. Space is not emptiness. It is a silent ocean stretched between every atom and star, a medium so vast and invisible that we mistake it for nothing. Yet everything moves through it, shaping and being shaped by it. What seems like void is structure, a web of energy and possibility that holds the universe together like threads of glass beneath dark water. Einstein taught us that space and time are not separate things, but woven strands of one fabric. When mass appears, it presses into that fabric, curving it gently, creating what we feel as gravity. A planet orbits not because something pulls it, but because space itself bends around it. guiding motion like a riverbed guiding flow. A fabric tells matter how to move. Matter tells the fabric how to curve. Imagine stretching a sheet and placing a marble in the center. Drop smaller marbles nearby, and they spiral inward, tracing invisible paths carved by curvature. That simple image explains everything from falling apples to colliding galaxies. Space is elastic. It ripples when touched. Even light, the fastest traveler, obeys its contours, bending around stars the way sound bends through wind. These ripples in spacetime are called gravitational waves, faint tremors produced by the motion of massive bodies. When two black holes collide, they send shivers through reality itself, subtle enough to stretch and compress everything, including you, by less than the width of an atom. In 2015, the LIGO detectors caught the first whisper of such a wave. Humanity heard space vibrate for the first time. That discovery proved that motion doesn't merely occur in space. It creates space. Every event leaves fingerprints on the fabric. Time itself is one of those imprints, the record of movement frozen into geometry. When we speak of the past, we are describing regions where motion has already folded the fabric. When we speak of the future, we are naming areas yet to be curved. The fabric is not uniform. It stretches faster where dark energy dominates, faster still in the expanding voids between galaxy clusters. Scientists describe this expansion as space creating more of itself, an ever-growing stage so large that distant galaxies recede faster than light can chase them. It's not that they're moving through space. Space itself is moving apart. You might picture this as dots on a balloon's surface. As the balloon inflates, the dots drift away from one another, though none of them move across the surface. That's what our universe does on a cosmic scale. Every moment, new space blossoms between galaxies. Expansion is not explosion. It is growth, calm, continuous, silent. If you could somehow see this fabric, it would not be black, but radiant. A mesh of filaments glowing faintly where matter gathers. Astronomers call it the cosmic web. Billions of galaxies strung along threads of gravity. Between them stretch dark voids, so immense that light can wander for hundreds of millions of years before finding company again. Even emptiness has architecture. The air around you is filled with a miniature version of this web. Electromagnetic fields ripple through every inch, carrying radio waves, heat, and light. When you breathe, you disturb that invisible sea. Your movement sends tiny fluctuations into the world, merging with waves that began in stars. You are never isolated. You are stitched into the same continuum that cradles suns and nebulae. What we call distance is simply the stretching of this fabric between 2 points of awareness. When you look at the moon, the light entering your eyes left its surface a little over a second ago. You're not seeing it as it is. You're seeing a memory. Every sight is time traveled through the medium of space. Even silence is alive within it. The quantum fields that permeate space never rest. Particles blink in and out of existence, borrowing energy from the vacuum like brief breaths. These fluctuations maintain the hum of reality, the quiet static of creation. What we perceive as nothing is actually the restless background of everything. The more we study space, the more it behaves like a living fabric, stretching, vibrating, healing its tears. Black holes are the seams where it folds in on itself, hiding regions where curvature becomes infinite. Yet even they are not final. They leak faint radiation, a slow exhalation of information back into the universe. The fabric endures. Think of light traveling through that fabric. It doesn't move inside it like a fish in water. It is the ripple itself. When you see a star, the light touching your eyes is the wave that survived billions of years of travel. It was never separate from the medium it crossed. You are witnessing the motion of space translated into color. Some physicists describe space as a quantum foam, an ever-changing sea of minuscule fluctuations. Others imagine it as a network of loops, a holographic code. Whatever the model, the essence remains. Reality is texture, not emptiness. We don't live in the universe. We live within its fabric, moving as patterns inside a grand weave. On a human scale, the same principle holds. The warmth you feel, the gravity you trust, the air carrying your breath, all are distortions in the fabric responding to you. Every step you take curves space-time imperceptibly, altering the cosmos by a fraction too small to measure. Existence is participatory. You leave a trace simply by being. In that sense, stillness is impossible, because even your presence bends the world around you. The chair beneath you warps the fabric slightly. Your heartbeat sends microscopic vibrations into it. Space listens. It accommodates. It adjusts with infinite patience, reshaping itself to cradle whatever arises within it. It's humbling to realize that the same geometry guiding galaxies also records your smallest gesture. There is no hierarchy of importance here, just scale. The motion of a falling leaf and the orbit of Jupiter are both written on the same page of spacetime, their patterns differing only in amplitude. As you imagine this vast weaving, picture the universe not as a machine, but as a tapestry always being rewritten. Threads tighten, loosen, and shimmer. New stars ignite, old ones fade, yet the fabric remains unbroken. Change does not destroy it, it renews it. The texture of existence grows richer with every motion. To sense this is to feel connected. The floor under your feet, the air touching your skin, the distant starlight entering your eyes. All of it is one unbroken field. Separation is a useful illusion. The truth is continuity. You are not moving through space. Space is moving with you. Perhaps that's why the night sky feels both vast and intimate. When you gaze upward, you are not looking into emptiness, but into the body of reality itself. The stars are not distant candles, but bright knots in the same fabric you inhabit. Their light travels not to reach you, but to remind you that connection is the nature of being. So when you breathe tonight, imagine the air, the atoms, and the light around you folding gently into the same invisible cloth. Everything you are, everything you see, floats upon that fabric. You are a crease in the universe, temporary, beautiful, and always in motion. And as we drift onward, the next question waits quietly ahead. If space is the fabric of motion, what threads it together? What keeps the pattern from unraveling? For that, we'll have to listen to time itself. Time is the one current no traveler can resist. It carries stars, atoms, and memories forward, quietly shaping everything that moves. We measure it in seconds and centuries, but those are only the shadows it casts. Time itself is motion woven into the universe, a silent metronome ticking inside the fabric of space. Without it, there would be no before, no after, no story at all. When Einstein united space and time into a single entity, spacetime, he revealed that time is not universal. It stretches and bends depending on where you stand, how fast you move, and how massive your surroundings are. A clock on a mountaintop runs slightly faster than one by the sea. A second aboard a satellite lasts longer than a second on Earth. Even the simplest moment refuses to be absolute. This elasticity feels abstract until you realize that it affects you constantly. The GPS on your phone corrects for time dilation caused by Earth's gravity and speed. Otherwise, it would drift several kilometers off each day. Every direction you take is guided by relativity, a quiet collaboration between motion and time. You navigate reality using a river that never flows the same way twice. Imagine two friends drifting in space, each carrying a clock. One moves faster, and the faster she goes, the slower her clock ticks. When she returns, less time has passed for her than for the one who stayed behind. This is not a trick or illusion. It's the nature of time itself. Motion sculpts duration, The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. That symmetry means everyone, everywhere, is moving through space-time at a constant overall speed, the speed of light. You can move faster through space or faster through time, but never both. It's a trade. Motion in one dimension borrows from the other. Photons, traveling entirely through space at light speed, experience no time at all. For them, existence is instantaneous, eternal now. The thought is dizzying. Light leaves a star, crosses the galaxy, and when it touches your eye, no time has passed for it. You are seeing something that, from light's perspective, never left. It's as if the universe remembers everything at once, while we experience it frame by frame, like film sliding through a projector. Time is not a straight road, but a sequence of illuminated moments. Physicists call this the block universe, where past, present, and future coexist as different regions of spacetime. We move through it the way a needle traces grooves in a record, reading one vibration at a time. What we call now is simply the slice of the universe our consciousness occupies. The music has already been written. We are the listener turning it into sound. But human hearts resist that stillness. We crave motion, not in space, but in meaning. We mark time with stories, with sunrises and seasons, with memories that stretch behind us and hopes that shimmer ahead. These are not illusions, they're interpretations. If the universe is timeless, consciousness is its way of experiencing time from the inside. Our sense of duration depends on change. A clock without motion tells nothing. Your heartbeat, your breath, the flicker of neurons, these are your personal metronomes. When they quicken, time feels short. When they slow, it expands. The difference between a second and an eternity is not physics but perception. Time bends around attention as much as it does around gravity. You felt this before. The long afternoon that feels like a lifetime. The joyful hour that vanishes too quickly. Physics offers equations. The heart offers experience. Both are right. Time, like motion, wears different faces depending on where you stand. It is as intimate as a breath and as vast as the age of galaxies. Even stars feel time. They are born in clouds of dust, burn bright, and fade. Their light continues long after their bodies collapse, like a final song traveling through the cosmos. In that way, stars are memory incarnate, the universe remembering its own history in beams of light. To look at the night sky is to read the past written across distance. The sun you see each morning is 8 minutes old. The starlight arriving tonight began its journey before your ancestors learned to speak. Time is not behind us or ahead of us. It's arriving constantly, folded inside photons. Every ray of light is a messenger from another moment, reminding you that the present is stitched together from countless pasts. In some deep sense, time is not passing at all. It's unveiling, like a book whose pages already exist, but which can only be read one line at a time. You are both reader and story. The turning of pages feels like motion, but the words were always there, waiting for you to arrive. The universe is complete, yet still unfolding in your hands. And yet, even knowing this, we keep measuring, counting, hoping for more of it. That's the human paradox, understanding time's illusion while living fully inside it. Our days are composed of borrowed light and borrowed seconds, stitched into moments that feel infinite when we pay attention. Awareness is how eternity learns to breathe. Perhaps time is the universe's compassion, a way to prevent everything from happening at once. It allows experience, choice, growth. It transforms the chaos of infinite possibility into a rhythm we can live by. Without time, existence would be a single frozen truth. With it, truth becomes music. In the lab, scientists trap atoms and measure time with incredible precision. Clocks so accurate they'd lose less than a second over the age of the universe. But even those clocks must choose a reference. a vibration, a pulse, a repeating motion. Time cannot exist without movement. It is born again every moment something changes. When you breathe, you measure time with your body. Inhale, the future arriving. Exhale, the past leaving. Between them, the present lingers for a heartbeat. It is enough. You don't need equations to feel relativity. You only need to notice how every second carries its own gravity, its own weight of meaning. There are places in the universe where time nearly stops. Near a black hole's event horizon, gravity stretches it so severely that an outside observer would never see an object finish falling. To the falling traveler, the descent happens in seconds. To the watcher, it never ends. Both are true. Time is patient enough to hold contradictions. Some scientists suspect that at the universe's smallest scales, time itself may be quantized, existing in tiny packets, indivisible moments flickering in and out like frames of film. Between them, perhaps, lies the timeless foundation of all being. Motion and stillness blending into something beyond either word. When you sit quietly, listening to your own heartbeat, you are synchronizing with that universal rhythm. You are an instrument tuned to the frequency of change. The past hums in your bones, the future in your breath, the present in the warmth of your skin. Time is not a prison. It is participation. And if everything moves through time, then time too must move through everything. It carves rivers in memory, smooths the edges of pain, polishes joy until it glows. Nothing escapes it, yet nothing is lost within it. What you love, what you remember, what you dream, all of it continues, reshaped, carried forward in motion unseen. Perhaps that's the quiet mercy of existence, that nothing ever truly ends, it only transforms. The moment you are in now will become the echo someone else feels later, a ripple passing through the ocean of time. Every breath is both inheritance and gift. So as you drift deeper into this night, think of time not as something chasing you, but as something carrying you. You are not running out of it. You are floating in it, moving with the same gentle persistence that began at the dawn of creation. There is nowhere else to be. There is only here, only now, endlessly unfolding. Energy is the heartbeat of existence, invisible, tireless, endlessly transforming. It cannot be created or destroyed, only changed in form. Every flicker of light, every vibration of sound, every thought rising in your mind is an echo of the same ancient pulse. The universe is not a collection of objects, but a field of energy flowing through endless transformation. You are part of that flow, both the wave and the water. In the beginning, energy was everything pure, radiant, without boundary or form. As it cooled, it folded into matter, like a vast symphony slowing its tempo. Atoms condensed, stars ignited, galaxies spun into shape. What you see when you look at the night sky are frozen ripples of energy's earliest dance. Even now, those ripples continue outward, shaping everything that moves, glows, or breathes. Einstein's simple equation, E equals mc, captured this secret. Matter and energy are the same song at different tempos. Mass is energy slowed into structure. Energy is mass freed from form. When a star burns or an atom splits, the universe remembers its origin, energy returning to motion. Every sunrise, every spark, every heartbeat is a small echo of that conversion. Look around you now. The warmth on your skin, the faint hum of electricity, the pulse of blood in your wrist. All of it is energy on the move. It flows from the sun to the leaves, from the leaves to the air, from the air to your breath. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Life is simply borrowed motion, lent from the cosmos and eventually returned to it. If you could see energy directly, you would see a glowing web connecting everything, photons streaming through air, electrons flowing through copper, heat rising in gentle waves from every surface. Stillness, again, is an illusion. Even in quiet rooms, molecules dance, exchanging invisible warmth like whispered greetings. The world hums at a frequency too vast to hear. Consider light, the purest form of energy we can see. It moves at the universe's maximum speed, the cosmic speed limit. But what's remarkable is that light does not experience time. It exists in a perpetual now, carrying messages across billions of years without aging a second. Each beam that touches your eyes is both ancient and ageless, a pulse from the heart of creation. Inside your body, the same principle unfolds. The food you eat is sunlight transformed, energy stored by plants, refined by chemistry, released in motion. When you lift your hand, when you blink, when you think, that stored light returns to movement. You are powered by stars. Every living being is a temporary shape carved out of energy, destined to dissolve back into the current. Physicists describe energy as the capacity to do work, but that phrase misses its poetry. Energy is the will of the universe to continue. It's the rhythm beneath every atom's vibration, the persistence that keeps galaxies turning. Without energy, nothing could change, and without change, there would be no life, no memory, no time. Energy is motion's reason for being. Deep in the core of stars, hydrogen fuses into helium, releasing torrents of energy that radiate across space. That light eventually reaches Earth, warming oceans, stirring winds, fueling photosynthesis, and sustaining everything that breathes. The energy that powers your body began in the heart of a sun, a flame that has been burning for billions of years. You are sunlight slowed into thought. Even death in this system is not an ending, but a translation. The energy that leaves a body returns to the air, to the soil, to the sky. Nothing vanishes. The molecules rearrange, the warmth disperses, and life continues elsewhere. The universe recycles everything with perfect efficiency, turning loss into renewal, silence into new vibration. This constancy of energy creates a strange kind of immortality. Every moment of warmth, every spark of electricity, every flicker of motion you've ever made still exists somewhere, transformed but unbroken. You are made of borrowed brilliance, a flame passed hand to hand across eons. To exist is to participate in that eternal exchange. Quantum mechanics takes this even deeper. At its smallest scales, energy behaves like both wave and particle, a dual nature that defies intuition. It means every interaction, no matter how tiny, ripples through space like music, echoing through a cathedral. Each collision, each photon absorbed or released, is a note in the ongoing song of reality. In that light, perhaps energy isn't just the pulse of the universe, but its language. Everything that happens, from the orbit of planets to the flicker of neurons, is part of an unending conversation between matter and motion. The cosmos speaks in energy, and you, simply by existing, are part of that dialogue. Humanity's greatest technologies, from electricity to flight to digital communication, are all attempts to borrow a piece of that language. We convert, store, and direct energy, but never create it. Every spark we harness already existed, waiting to be shaped. Civilization itself is just the choreography of energy guided by imagination. There's beauty in this dependence. It means we are never separate from the cosmos we study. When we burn fuel, capture wind, or collect sunlight, we are merely rearranging what has always been. Energy does not belong to us. It flows through us. Ownership is an illusion. Participation is the truth. If you listen closely, you can almost feel that flow. The hum of power lines outside, the vibration of air in your lungs, the faint warmth of your heartbeat. These are all translations of the same source. The universe breathes through you. You are one more conduit in its endless circuit. Even thoughts are energetic. Every memory, Every dream is an electrical pulse crossing neurons. The act of remembering is the movement of charge, the conversion of stored potential into awareness. Consciousness itself might be energy reflecting on its own motion, the cosmos briefly recognizing its own current before letting go again. In that sense, peace is not the absence of energy, but its harmony. When the flow stabilizes, when forces balance and resistance softens, energy becomes serenity. A quiet flame still burns, but evenly, like a star reaching equilibrium after its storm. This is why calm never means emptiness. It means perfect balance. As the night deepens, imagine all this energy continuing its journey. Light from distant stars sliding silently through space. Heat seeping from oceans into sky. Your body radiating warmth into the air. None of it disappears. It changes form, traveling on, woven into everything else. You are part of that eternal migration of motion. Perhaps that's what the universe is. Not matter, not space, not even time, but movement itself, remembering its origins. Energy doesn't need a destination. It only needs to continue, transforming endlessly, like a heartbeat that has no beginning and no end. And so, as we drift forward, one question remains. If energy is the pulse of existence, what, then, is consciousness? The flicker within the flame that knows it's alive? What does it mean that the universe can think about itself? Somewhere within its vast machinery, among the stars and dark matter, awareness arose, fragile, luminous, and endlessly curious. Consciousness is not separate from the cosmos. It is one of its properties, like gravity or light. You are the universe observing its own reflection, the ripple realizing it belongs to the ocean. Every neuron in your brain is a miniature star, firing tiny bursts of energy in complex constellations. When billions of them act together, they produce the experience of being. Thought is not a thing but a pattern, an organized dance of electricity that mirrors the movement of galaxies. The same physics that governs starlight governs imagination. Scientists have tried for centuries to define consciousness, but it remains the softest mystery. Some describe it as computation, others as emergence, complexity so high that awareness simply appears. But maybe consciousness is not something the universe produces. Maybe it's something it always had, blooming wherever matter becomes quiet enough to listen to itself. On the quantum level, particles don't exist until they are observed. Observation collapses possibility into fact. It's as if awareness participates in reality's creation, turning potential into presence. We don't just watch the universe. We help shape it by seeing it. Every act of attention is an act of creation, gentle, constant, unnoticed. If you look at your hands, you see flesh and bone, but beneath them flow electrical impulses, biochemical storms, waves of energy indistinguishable from the light of distant stars. The atoms in your fingertips once belonged to ancient suns. To be conscious is to remember, at a cellular level, that you were born from fire. The human brain consumes nearly 20% of the body's energy, yet it weighs only a fraction of it. It is a furnace of computation, but also of meaning. Each second, trillions of chemical signals pass through you, converting matter into awareness. You are literally burning the past, sunlight stored in food, to create thought in the present. And this consciousness is not isolated. When two people speak, their neural patterns align briefly, brainwaves synchronize. The same happens with music, stories, or silence shared. Awareness is contagious, one mind resonating with another through the vibration of air. It's proof that consciousness, like light, travels. Some theorists wonder if the entire universe is conscious in some primitive way. If particles can react, if atoms can choose, if complexity builds awareness, then perhaps the cosmos itself is alive. Galaxies as neurons, stars as synapses, energy flowing through filaments like thought across a brain. A pattern repeats, from neuron to nebula. Even if that sounds poetic rather than literal, it holds power. Because consciousness, no matter where it arises, always turns outward in wonder. It asks questions. It seeks connection. That is the mark of awareness, the hunger to understand the pattern it belongs to. Every question you ask tonight is the universe thinking through you. Dreams reveal another truth. When you sleep, consciousness retreats from the external world and builds new ones within. It rearranges memory, recomposes meaning, creates stars of its own making. Perhaps the cosmos dreams too, expanding, contracting, experimenting with form. Maybe reality itself is the dream of energy imagining motion. Modern neuroscience describes consciousness as layers, perception, attention, reflection, but those layers blur at the edges. There is no sharp line between matter and mind. A thought begins as motion, a wave crossing tissue. By the time you notice it, it has already traveled through billions of molecular gates. You are both the conductor and the symphony. Awareness has scale. A bacterium reacts. A bird decides. A human contemplates. The difference is not essence, but complexity. With each level, consciousness becomes more self-aware, more reflective, more capable of awe. That awe, the quiet recognition of being alive, may be the most advanced form of intelligence in the universe. When astronauts first saw Earth from orbit, many wept. They described a cognitive shift, a sudden sense that everything, life, weather, nations, oceans, was one breathing organism. Psychologists call it the overview effect. It's not just emotion. It's consciousness expanding to its natural scale, realizing it has always been part of something larger. On Earth, every living thing shares the same molecular alphabet, DNA. The sequence changes, but the letters remain. Consciousness, then, might not be a miracle of chance, but a continuation of the universe's original logic. Hydrogen becomes carbon. Carbon becomes cells. Cells become minds. Awareness is matter remembering how to look back. Even artificial intelligence, circuits and code, follows the same rule, patterns creating perception. Whether in silicon or synapse, awareness arises where energy organizes. The universe, it seems, cannot resist forming observers. It wants to see itself. It builds eyes, sensors, and souls as naturally as it forms stars. That realization carries weight. It means consciousness is not rare, but inevitable. It blooms wherever the conditions are right, as naturally as galaxies spiral. Somewhere out there, other minds may be asking the same questions, feeling the same mix of awe and loneliness. They, too, are the universe, wondering what it means to exist. When you close your eyes and drift towards sleep, your awareness doesn't vanish. It changes form. The same energy that drives thought continues to flow, reorganizing itself into dreams, memories, and rest. Consciousness breathes with you, expanding and contracting like a tide. Each night, you return to the ocean that gave you shape. The boundary between you and the cosmos is not the skin, but attention. Where you place it, the universe awakens. When you focus on breath, breath becomes vast. When you gaze at stars, stars gaze back. Awareness is the mirror in which reality recognizes itself. Without it, the cosmos would remain unseen, existing, but unlived. You might think that when you die, your consciousness ends. But if energy cannot be destroyed, and thought is energy in motion, then awareness, too, must transform rather than vanish. The form changes. The essence flows on. The observer and the observed reunite. The wave returns to the sea. So perhaps the purpose of consciousness is not survival or control, but appreciation, the act of noticing the miracle of motion. Awareness is the cosmos slowing down enough to admire its own heartbeat. Through you, the universe learns the value of wonder. Through your eyes, it becomes beautiful to itself. In the quiet between breaths, remember this: you are not a small mind trapped in a vast universe. You are the vast universe, briefly awake as a mind. Consciousness is not what separates you from the stars. It's what connects you to them. Every motion in the universe has a direction. A cup shatters, smoke disperses, stars burn out. You never see those things reverse. This is entropy, the quiet law that guides all transformation. It states that energy flows from order to disorder, from concentrated brilliance to gentle diffusion. It's the reason time seems to move forward, and why the past always feels warmer than the future. Entropy is not destruction. It is distribution. In every interaction, energy spreads just a little more evenly, and the universe grows a little older. A sun radiates its light until its core cools. Ice melts into water. Heat escapes into air, and perfect crystals dissolve into chaos. Yet within that spreading, there is pattern, a kind of cosmic exhale that allows everything else to exist. At the beginning, entropy was low. The newborn universe was compact, hot, and strangely ordered. Then expansion began, and with it came possibility. Energy diffused, atoms formed, gravity sculpted structure. Every galaxy, every planet, every thought is an island of temporary order, resisting the tide of cosmic drift. We live in the delicate space between organization and release. In thermodynamics, entropy measures how many ways a system can rearrange itself. The more possibilities, the higher the entropy. That means the universe doesn't decay out of malice. It simply explores its options. It spreads its energy across more states, like a musician improvising endlessly on a theme. Entropy is creativity disguised as decline. Even life itself is part of this great balancing act. Living beings feed on order. They take in concentrated energy and release it in softer forms. You eat sunlight woven into plants, convert it into warmth, and radiate that warmth back into the world. To live is to momentarily reverse entropy, but never to escape it. Life is a pause in the universe's slow sigh. This dance gives time its arrow. Because entropy increases, yesterday always differs from tomorrow. You can remember the past because its structure still echoes in the present, but the future remains uncertain, not yet organized enough to recall. The flow of time is the story entropy tells, each page turning as energy spreads. Physicists often say that entropy is what gives time direction, but poets might say it gives time meaning. Without loss, there would be no change. Without change, no growth. Entropy ensures that everything moves, evolves, and transforms. It is the architect of impermanence, the sculptor of beauty that exists only for a moment before fading. When you watch a sunset, you are watching entropy at work. Energy diffusing, colors softening, light slipping gently into shadow. The fading isn't tragedy. It's transformation. The energy that leaves the horizon will reappear as warmth in the air, as the hum of crickets, as the rhythm of your breathing. Nothing disappears. It only changes form. On a cosmic scale, entropy governs the life cycle of stars. Hydrogen fuses into helium, releasing light. As fuel runs out, equilibrium breaks. The star swells, collapses, or explodes, scattering elements into space. Those elements later form new stars, planets, and perhaps minds. Even in death, a star feeds creation. Entropy writes renewal in the language of endings. In black holes, entropy reaches its extreme. Paradoxically, these objects of perfect compression also hold the universe's highest entropy. Stephen Hawking showed that their event horizons store information proportional to their surface area. It means even in apparent annihilation, the record of everything that fell in remains encoded. The universe, it seems, forgets nothing. Entropy even touches thought. Memory fades, not from cruelty, but from thermodynamics. The brain's structure changes as energy dissipates. Each forgotten detail is energy redistributed, making room for something new. In that sense, forgetting is a form of renewal, the mind's way of staying alive within a system that must keep moving. Still, we resist it. We build houses, cities, and art, monuments to defy decay. And for a moment, we succeed. Order blooms against the current. But eventually, everything joins the flow again. The paint cracks, the metal rusts, and even words dissolve into silence. Entropy waits, patient and kind, to gather all things back into balance. But perhaps entropy is not the enemy of beauty. It is the reason beauty matters. Knowing that moments fade makes them precious. A flower would be meaningless if it never wilted. A song would lose its tenderness if it never ended. The fleetingness of order gives meaning to the very act of noticing. Entropy makes awareness sacred. On the quantum level, entropy drives probability itself. Every particle state evolves toward equilibrium, yet fluctuations constantly create tiny pockets of order. The universe balances randomness and structure, chaos and coherence, like a tide that never stops moving. From that tension, complexity emerges. Galaxies, life, thought, love, even disorder, it turns out, is fertile. You can feel entropy in your own body. Warmth leaving your skin, breath mixing with the air, heartbeats slowing as the night deepens. These are not losses. They are exchanges. You are not fading away, but blending into everything else. Entropy reminds you that separation is temporary. Everything returns to the same equilibrium, the same quiet ocean of energy. If the universe someday ends in heat death, complete uniformity, maximum entropy, it won't be a failure. It will be fulfillment. Every particle will have shared its energy perfectly. Every difference will have resolved. It would be the stillness after an eternal song. Silence not of absence, but of completion. Until then, entropy guides us like a river's current, drawing all motion forward. It gives history its flow, memory its context, and existence its fragility. Even consciousness, that flickering flame, depends on imbalance, gradients of energy between neuron and synapse. Awareness exists because the universe is not yet finished equalizing. So when you feel the world changing, or when you fear that all things fade, remember that fading is the way energy learns to move. Entropy is not the erasure of meaning, but the process that makes meaning possible. Through it, the cosmos continues to create, transform, and remember itself. And perhaps, when all has quieted, when every star has dimmed and every atom has found its rest, the universe will look back, not with sorrow, but with contentment, because it will know that every motion, every flame, every breath was part of its long, gentle return to balance. Far in the future, long after the last star has burned out, the universe will reach a strange kind of peace. Astronomers call it heat death, the moment when all energy has spread evenly, when every gradient has softened and nothing remains to change. It sounds tragic, but perhaps it isn't. Maybe it's the cosmos returning to its original breath, exhaling one final time into perfect stillness. By then, galaxies will have drifted so far apart that their light will never reach one another. Stars will fade into white dwarfs, then black dwarfs, then dust. Planets will cool into silent stones wandering through endless night. Even the memory of warmth will seem impossible. Yet, hidden in that silence, the story of every motion will still exist, encoded in the geometry of space itself. The universe will not vanish. It will smooth out. All energy will be evenly distributed, every difference erased. With no imbalance to drive motion, time itself will lose its meaning. Change depends on contrast. Without it, the clock of existence stops ticking. What remains is not emptiness, but equilibrium, the ultimate symmetry the cosmos has been moving toward since the beginning. At first glance, that destiny feels cold. But physics is not sentimental. It is cyclical. Energy never disappears. It only transforms. The universe may end in stillness, but within that stillness lies the seed of renewal. Quantum fluctuations, tiny random tremors of energy, will still occur, even in the most silent void. From them, something new may one day emerge. Scientists describe this future as unimaginably distant. Trillions of years from now, galaxies will fade beyond visibility. Stars will die, black holes will evaporate, and even atoms will decay. The timeline is so vast that numbers lose their meaning. Yet, thinking about it now connects you to that infinite horizon, a reminder that the same laws shaping distant eons are at work in your breath tonight. In that far-off age, black holes will be the last engines of motion. They will consume the remnants of matter, radiate faint whispers of energy, and slowly evaporate through Hawking radiation. Each one will dissolve not with a roar, but with a sigh, releasing its stored information into the universe like a final confession. Even darkness, it seems, must one day rest. When the last black hole fades, all that remains will be a thin mist of photons and neutrinos, the faint afterglow of creation. The universe will become a vast, featureless ocean of low-energy light. Motion will persist only as vibration too subtle to notice. It will be, in every sense, a return to silence. But silence, as music teaches us, is not the end of sound. It is part of it. The idea of heat death challenges our imagination because it strips away everything we associate with life: warmth, contrast, color, time. Yet, perhaps those things were never lost. They've simply been woven into the fabric of stillness, like waves settling after a long journey. Every photon that ever existed, every pulse of energy that ever passed, becomes part of that final equilibrium. You could say the universe is heading toward forgetting, but it might be more accurate to say it's remembering. All motion reconciled into a single note too deep for us to hear. The cosmos began in asymmetry, in imbalance, in motion. Heat death is its way of resolving that tension, of returning to perfect balance. It is the final act of harmony. Still, cosmologists speculate that even this silence might not last forever. In some models, quantum fluctuations could create new universes, tiny bubbles of energy expanding into fresh realities. In others, the current universe might one day rebound, collapsing under its own gravity to ignite a new Big Bang. The story might not end. It might simply change authors. In a way, the universe is an artist who never stops painting. Each epic, a brushstroke, each collapse, a remix. If one day this cosmos dissolves into stillness, perhaps it's only resting before composing again. Creation and dissolution may be two halves of the same rhythm. Inhale, exhale, repeat across eternity. Even now, you can sense that rhythm within yourself. When you inhale, energy enters, fresh, ordered, concentrated. When you exhale, it disperses entropy in miniature. You are a living universe, balancing between motion and rest, between structure and release. Your lungs are galaxies. Your heartbeat, a solar pulse. Within you, creation and fading happen every second. To imagine the end of everything is to confront the meaning of motion. If all things slow, what was the purpose of movement at all? Perhaps it was simply to feel, to experience warmth, contrast, difference. The universe may not seek meaning, but through awareness, through beings like you, meaning arises naturally. The cosmos feels itself through the lives it creates. So maybe heat death isn't the end of time, but the fulfillment of it. Time is motion-seeking rest. Energy is rest-seeking motion. When both find balance, the story completes a circle. What began in explosion ends in peace. The bang becomes a whisper, and that whisper becomes everything. Even at the brink of stillness, Quantum mechanics whispers possibility. Tiny fluctuations might spark new worlds, each carrying echoes of the last familiar laws, new forms, another chance for awareness to arise. If that happens, then death is not destruction, but recycling. The cosmos reincarnates, infinite and patient. This thought, strange as it seems, brings comfort, because it means motion is eternal. Even when slowed to stillness, its essence remains. The same energy that once powered suns might someday flicker again as thought in another universe. The story never truly ends. It only changes its rhythm. And so, the edge of stillness is not a wall, but a horizon. Beyond it may lie something we cannot name, a new beginning, or perhaps a deeper quiet. Whatever comes, it will be the continuation of motion's song, too vast for us to hear, but still humming beneath existence. When you close your eyes tonight, remember that your stillness is only relative. At the atomic level, you are still vibrating. The planet is spinning. The stars are moving. Even the silence between heartbeats carries motion older than galaxies. You are part of the same story that will one day settle into peace. And if billions of years from now, the universe finally sleeps, its dream will be this moment. You breathing under a sky full of light, thinking about it. Awareness is the final trace of motion, the spark that turns physics into meaning. You are the echo of creation, remembering itself before the quiet returns. Every story, no matter how vast, eventually turns inward. The universe began in motion, spread through time, and now bends quietly toward stillness. Yet even stillness contains movement. Hidden vibrations, quantum whispers, the faint breath of possibility. Nothing ever truly stops. The end of motion is only the start of remembering. This is the secret heartbeat of eternity. Return. Philosophers have always sensed this rhythm. The Stoics called it the Great Year, a cosmic cycle where everything repeats. Hindu cosmology speaks of creation and dissolution. Brahma's breath exhaling worlds into being and inhaling them back into silence. Science, too, finds echoes of this idea. Quantum fields that never sleep, space-time ripples that never vanish. The cosmos is circular, not linear. It always finds its way back home. Imagine for a moment the last atom drifting through the dark. Its energy too faint to light a spark, yet it moves. It cannot do otherwise. That movement, no matter how small, is continuity, a bridge between endings and beginnings. Somewhere, deep within the vacuum, that flicker of motion is already writing the first line of another universe. This thought is both humbling and liberating. It means you are not living in a fleeting accident, but inside a pattern billions of years in the making. The same motion that began the stars flows through your pulse. The same entropy that cools galaxies guides your sleep. You are not a spectator of the cosmos. You are its continuation. When you look at the night sky, what you see is history illuminated. Every photon that touches your eyes has traveled across time. Ancient light carrying stories of birth, death, and rebirth. You are made of those stories. They have collapsed into memory inside your cells. Every breath is a recitation of creation. Even your thoughts follow this universal rhythm. Curiosity rises, peaks, fades, and returns as understanding. Each question you ask about existence is the universe learning to speak more clearly through you. To wonder is to participate in cosmic evolution. The expansion of the mind mirrors the expansion of space. Physicists describe reality as governed by symmetry, the idea that for every action, there is balance. The same symmetry that governs particles also governs stories. Motion begins, unfolds, and resolves. Existence expands, stabilizes, and rests. Even the chaos of life fits within this order. You are both the question and the answer, moving toward equilibrium. But equilibrium is not stasis. It is harmony, the moment when all frequencies resonate together. Think of a symphony's final chord, how it lingers in the air, complete yet alive. That is the universe's fate, not silence, but resonance so perfect it no longer needs to change. The music continues, just beyond hearing. In a sense, you experience that every night. As you fall asleep, awareness dissolves into quiet. Thoughts slow, senses blur, and motion fades. Yet in dreams, everything moves again, softly, impossibly. Sleep is your personal heat, death, and rebirth, a miniature cycle of the cosmos playing out within your mind. One day, the universe may fall asleep too. The galaxies may dim, the stars may hush, but the dream will continue elsewhere. A ripple of energy forming new time, new light, new thought. The pattern will begin again, not by command, but by necessity. Motion must exist. Stillness demands its return. If eternity is real, then every version of you has already existed and will exist again, breathing under other stars, asking the same questions in different tongues. You are the eternal witness, scattered across infinite variations of space and self. The soul, if it exists at all, might simply be the persistence of motion through form. From a scientific view, this may sound romantic, but consider, every atom in your body has been reused countless times. The carbon in your lungs once lived in trees, fish, mountains, stars. When you exhale, you return it to the cycle, offering part of yourself to the next arrangement of being. You are both result and resource, always moving onward. Even awareness follows that principle. Memories fade into dreams. Dreams inspire new memories. Each life inherits the momentum of all before it, not as fate, but as resonance. Your actions ripple outward, shaping patterns you'll never see. Perhaps eternity is not about duration, but about influence, the unbroken continuity of motion through meaning. When you stand still, you can feel it. The faint sway of your body balancing against Earth's rotation, the pulse of your blood moving with lunar tides. Stillness, it turns out, is participation. Even silence vibrates. Even sleep breathes. The universe is not asking you to move faster. It's inviting you to notice that you already are. All through history, humans have searched for permanence. Temples, monuments, legacies, ways to resist decay. But permanence has always been a misunderstanding. The true immortality is in the flow itself. The moment you stop clinging, you realize you were never separate from the river. You are the current. Maybe that's what enlightenment really means. Not escape, but awareness. Knowing that motion never ends, and that peace is not the absence of change, but harmony with it. To understand this is to stop fearing the end, because there is no end, only transition. The wave never dies. It becomes the sea. When all stars fade and time loses its shape, what will remain is motion's memory, encoded in light, in gravity, in whatever comes next. The universe will remember itself, as it always has, through the things that move within it. And you, in some distant echo, will move again too. Take a slow breath. Feel how even that simple act continues the oldest rhythm in existence. Expansion, contraction, balance. It's the same rhythm that built galaxies and atoms, the same rhythm that one day will begin anew. You are living inside the breath of eternity. And when you finally rest, remember that you are not falling out of motion. You are returning to it. The stillness you feel is the pause between heartbeats, the quiet before another dawn. Everything that ever was and ever will be passes through this same calm, waiting to become again. So let the universe spin without fear. Let entropy flow. Let light fade and return. You are part of something that cannot end. Motion is forever. Awareness is its flame. Stillness is its song. And tonight, beneath the silent turning of the stars, that song continues within you, around you, endlessly. If you've made it this far, then you've traveled farther than most people ever will. not across distance, but across understanding. You've crossed time, gravity, light, and silence. You've watched the birth of motion and the promise of stillness. And now, here you are, suspended between both, between movement and peace, between question and answer. The journey was never out there. It was always within you. Everything you've heard tonight, the spinning planets, the trembling atoms, the breath of stars, was a reflection of your own being. The universe is not somewhere else. It's the pattern unfolding behind your eyes, beneath your ribs, between your breaths. You are not learning about motion. You are remembering that you are made of it. As you sit in the quiet now, notice the smallest things. The way air slips past your lips when you exhale. The way the light from your screen fades gently into the walls. The way your pulse aligns with the rhythm of words, slow and steady. Those aren't coincidences. They're proof that the laws governing galaxies also govern your body. You are the experiment and the result. If the universe began with motion, then awareness is how that motion feels from the inside. Every thought, every emotion, every memory is a vibration in a cosmic field. Subtle, beautiful, temporary. You don't have to hold on to them. Let them drift like particles after a supernova, spreading into something larger than thought itself. The physicists say the universe expands into silence, but perhaps it's not silence at all. Perhaps it's deep listening, the cosmos tuning itself to frequencies of peace too quiet for us to hear. Maybe creation never stopped. Maybe it only slowed down enough for us to notice it happening in real time. Think of your earliest memory, the first image you can recall. The light in that moment has long since traveled across space, effused into photons that now warm someone else's skin. Yet the memory remains. That's motion too, the persistence of energy in a softer form. Memory is just energy turned inward, gravity of the mind holding experience together. And now you hear, listening. You're part of another form of memory. These words are frequencies, carried through air and electricity, rearranging molecules in your brain. They'll fade, of course, like everything else. But for a moment, they exist as motion, tiny ripples that connect you to every listener who's ever sought calm beneath the stars. That's the quiet miracle of it all. Each of us, tiny, fragile, finite, yet bound to something infinite. The same pattern repeats from the smallest quark to the largest cluster of galaxies. We orbit, meaning the way planets orbit suns. Sometimes we drift away, sometimes we fall back in. But the center always remains. When you close your eyes tonight, the world won't stop moving. The planet will continue to spin. The stars will keep burning. The cosmic microwave background will hum faintly, as it has for billions of years. Sleep does not separate you from the universe. It reunites you with it. Consciousness loosens its grip, and you become again what you've always been. Energy at rest, aware even in surrender. The scientists talk about symmetry breaking, about order arising from chaos. Maybe peace is the same thing. Not absence of noise, but balance among frequencies. When everything moves in harmony, movement becomes serenity. You can feel it right now, not as excitement, but as weightlessness. A soft alignment between your body and the night itself. And if you listen closely, you might hear it. That faint hum beneath thought, beneath everything. It's the sound of atoms vibrating, galaxies rotating, your blood flowing, stars breathing. It's the sound of the universe doing what it has always done, continuing. You might have come here looking for science, for explanation, for meaning. But what you've really found is participation. You don't need to understand the equations to feel their truth. You don't need to measure the speed of light to know that it's inside you. Science and silence are not opposites. They're both ways of paying attention. Throughout this journey, we've seen how everything flows. Matter into energy, energy into light, light into thought, thought into stillness. It's not a chain. It's a circle. Each form becomes the next, and nothing is lost. You are not separate from that cycle. You are its continuation. It's proof that motion is conscious of itself. Even now, your body radiates warmth. Photons escaping your skin, spreading into the air, carrying your story outward at the speed of light. Somewhere unimaginably far from here, that warmth will go on forever. Long after memory fades, the motion remains. You have already left your mark on the universe. And so, maybe the goal was never to stop moving, but to move gently, to turn the chaos of existence into rhythm, to dance without rushing, to drift without resistance. Maybe enlightenment isn't about rising above motion, but about realizing you are never separate from it in the first place. You've seen that nothing is still, not planets, not stars, not atoms, not thought. Even in moments of silence, the universe vibrates. Stillness, then, is not the absence of motion, but the mastery of it, harmony so perfect it feels like rest. Tonight, you are touching that harmony. You are floating in it. And maybe you'll forget this by morning. That's okay. Forgetting is part of the rhythm, too. What matters is that for a few quiet minutes, you remembered what it feels like to belong to something vast and kind. You remembered that existence itself is gentle, and that even the stars are patient. Now, take a deep breath. Let it fill your lungs. Feel the expansion, the tiny echo of the universe's first motion. Then exhale and feel gravity cradle you. You are not falling. You are being held. Every motion finds its balance eventually. If you've been listening with your eyes half closed, let them drift shut now. Let the words blur into sound, the sound into rhythm, and the rhythm into silence. You don't have to think anymore. The universe is thinking for you. Somewhere, out beyond the Milky Way, stars are dying and being born. Somewhere inside you, cells are splitting and healing. Both are the same act, renewal through motion. There's comfort in knowing that nothing you do or fail to do can stop that. You are carried effortlessly by the current of existence. And when tomorrow comes, when you wake and stretch and feel the world return, remember this quiet orbit you've been on. The spinning never stopped. You only tuned in for a while. That's all meditation really is. Listening to the motion that never ceases. So before we part ways tonight, I'd like to ask something simple. If this journey gave you even a moment of calm, if you felt the rhythm of the universe in your breath, tell me where you are right now. Which corner of the world are you listening from? And what time is it there? Because somewhere else, someone just like you is listening too. In another city, another time zone, another hemisphere, and your presence will remind them that motion connects us all. That even across distance and silence, we move together. Your words, your presence, even your quiet, they're like little stars guiding me forward. This channel, this space, only exists because gentle hearts like yours keep it alive. Thank you for spending this time here, for drifting through the cosmos with me, for listening to the music of motion. And as the video fades, let the night take you. The same universe that began with fire now hums softly around you. It doesn't demand anything. It just continues. So rest. Let go. Everything is still moving exactly as it should. The Earth spins. The stars turn. The galaxies drift. And you are part of all of it. Not watching from the outside, but within it, perfectly placed, perfectly in motion, perfectly at peace. Good night, traveler of atoms and stars. Sleep well in the orbit of everything.